Everybody, this is Andrew Edwards over on the Pipefy team in San Francisco, and today I'll be walking everybody through a quick high-level overview of Pipefy and who we are, and then we'll jump into a product demo. I'm super excited to have everybody here, so let's get this thing started. So here at Pipefy, we like to call ourselves the process excellence platform. We've been in business for about 3 years now. We were founded by Brazilian founders out of Curitiba, Brazil, and we've got headquarters in San Francisco. Really when we built the product, we wanted to build a solution that enabled organizations to really quickly deploy any custom business process that they needed to manage. So we've built a tool that enables organizations to really quickly and effectively deploy custom business processes. We also really focus on trying to give managers, every organization's process subject matter expert, the independence and freedom to really refine and improve their processes in real time as they're being managed. And then thirdly, we really believe in giving users the flexibility to easily customize processes that they're managing to really align to their process needs. So we've made the tool super easy and intuitive to use, where virtually anybody can go in and create a custom business process that they're managing within their organization. So that's kind of a quick high-level overview of Pipefy, and a couple of pieces of information that we really think are important when we built the product. And just want to really quickly show you guys some of our customers. So here at Pipefy now we're trusted by over 60,000 companies in 150 countries. So we're truly global, and we're working with super fast-growing tech companies, like companies down here in the Bay Area, like PandaDoc, to huge enterprise customers like AB InBev, Visa, General Electric, Accenture, Travelers, and hundreds of others. Growth. So this is a little bit of a vanity metric for us, but we're super proud here at Pipefy. In the last couple of years, we've been growing 20% month over month, and that really puts us in kind of an elite bracket of SaaS companies, probably in the 98th percentile there in terms of growth. So we're super proud that we've been growing super quickly over the past 2 years, and we're continuing to grow in the years to come. So we're super excited about that. Some of our investors. So as I mentioned, right, we're based out of Brazil and founded in Brazil, but we've gotten some really, really quality investors here in the Bay Area, including people like iconic investors from Founders Fund, which have invested in companies like Facebook, SpaceX, and Stripe, Trinity Ventures. We actually share a board member with Docker and New Relic. And then we've also gotten some significant investment from VCs like Redpoint and Valor Capital. So that's just a high level of kind of our investors. And then lastly here, I'll give you guys a real kind of quick sneak preview of what Pipefy looks like. So that's kind of a real high level of what a pipe looks like. And really what the Pipefy platform enables managers to do is to create and execute any type of workflow or business process through a Kanban style user experience, and without the need of any IT or technical resources. So we really empower managers to create their own workflows through Pipefy without the need of any kind of software development or IT skills. So that's all for the high level here. I just wanted to kind of introduce Pipefy, who we are, and now we can get started and jump right into a demo. So here we've got, basically we're in the Pipefy app here, and what we have right here in front of us is our dashboard, right? So when you as a user, you log into Pipefy, this is what you'd see. You'd see your dashboard here. And as I mentioned, we want to make it really easy for organizations to quickly create pipes or processes that they're going to run through Pipefy. So there's 3 main ways to do that. If we go to this Add New Pipe button here, we can see that we've got hundreds of best practice templates. Obviously we've seen millions of processes being run through our platform, so we've gotten some plug and play kind of off the shelf best practice templates. Here are some around IT and software development, marketing and sales, operations, HR, and many more. So as a user, you can come in here, you can pick a template that aligns to some of your process needs and use that. One of the other ways to create a process or pipe within Pipefy is to use one of these specific templates and then customize, any areas that need to be customized to your specific needs. And then the third way that to create a pipe is to create a completely customized new process from this new from scratch button here. So, if you have a very specific process that you're thinking about running through Pipefy, you would just go and create that new process from scratch. So those are the three different ways that we can actually create pipes within Pipefy and get started with all the management pieces. So what we see here now basically are what we call our pipes, right? So what pipes represent and what these boxes represent are different processes that we're running within our organization. So for my demo account here, I only have 3 pipes, but we have customers that are running hundreds of different processes and have hundreds of different pipes within their organization that they're running. So we can go in here, we can see I'm running my purchasing approval process here, I'm running my purchase process here, and I also got a simple to-do task list here as well. So that's kind of high level, and just to repeat myself quickly, what these boxes represent are different processes, or like we like to call them here at Pipefy, pipes that we are running through Pipefy and managing through Pipefy. So before we get started, I'm just going to jump in and show you guys really quickly what a purchasing process looks like. And before we get into kind of all the details, we'll just give you guys an idea of what the kind of structure of Pipefy is. So I'm just going to do a purchasing process. I'm sure almost everybody that's listening to this has a specific purchasing process that they go through within their organization, and it generally resonates pretty well for demos. So let's jump into that. So I'm going to go click on my purchasing process, and it's going to take me to my purchasing pipe here. So to give you guys an understanding, as I mentioned earlier, what we've got is basically through Pipefy, we've got a Kanban interface that's an interactive Kanban interface, and lets organizations manage any process that they'd like to manage through the platform. So the structure here that we have is all of these different columns represent different stages of your process, right? So for this first stage, right, it would be my backlog or screening phase, and we can completely customize and change these, right? Maybe we want to call it our screening phase for all the items that need to be purchased. So we can go and customize that column. This second stage within my process is going to be that quotation phase. This third phase within my process is going to be that approval phase. The fourth one's that purchasing, delivery, done, archived. And then we can also go in here and add any other phase that we'd want to add to our specific process. So as I mentioned, right, if we're using, for example, a template, but our specific process has an additional phase within our organization, we can go in and completely customize it there. We can add a phase and delete one as well. So that's what high level what the structure of a pipe looks like, right? So all of these columns represent different stages, or like we like to call them here at Pipefy, phases of your specific process. So now I'm just going to run you guys really quickly through what it looks like to create what we call a card. So what a card represents specifically within Pipefy is whatever is being managed in your process, right? So a card for this specific purchasing process is going to be an item that needs to be purchased. A card within our, let's say sales pipeline is going to be a prospect that is going through our sales pipe. A card within our, let's say IT ticketing system is going to be an IT ticket that someone is putting into the system that needs to be fixed. A card for, let's say, bug tracking is going to be a bug that was found in our software that one of our engineers needs to be fixed. So I think it's really important to kind of reiterate that, but a card is always going to represent whatever is being managed in your specific process. So now let's actually create a card. So there's a couple of different ways that we can create cards with Pipefy. So we can create cards from what we call our start form, and this is right from within our actual pipe. So if we click on this plus button here, what we see here is our start form, right? And basically what our start form is all the information that we need to create a specific card. So we can create it from within our pipe here, We can also create it from what we call a public form. So if we copy and paste this into my browser, what we're going to see is that start form is going to be a publicly facing start form. So you can send this to, maybe you're using it for your recruiting process. Applicants can go in and apply for your job right off of a public form. We can also create cards via email inbox. So we can actually create an email that's associated to whatever process you need to manage, and we can send specific pieces of information to that email address, and then it'll automatically create a card within your pipe. And then we also have integration. So we have an open API. If you have any kind of ideas of wanting to create a card through our open API, we can do that. And then we have integrations with Zapier. So we've got integrations with over 500 different apps, and that's another way for you to be able to create a card in your process. So let's just create a card from our actual pipe here to give you guys an idea of what that's going to look like. So it's going to ask me for my full name here, right? So that's the first thing. Let's put in Andrew Edwards, item to be purchased. Let's say it's computer screen. My email address, Andrew@pipefy.com. If we want to assign anybody to this specific card, and then the price of our card, our specific computer screen, which is going to be $2,000. Let's say it's a really expensive computer screen that I'm requesting. So once I go in and I fill all that information in my start form, I'm now able to create that card or that new request for that purchase order, right? That computer screen that I want to have purchased for my organization. So I go in, I create that, and what it's going to create is a card within my pipe now. So now we've created that card, and what we're going to see here is the card has fallen into that screening phase, so that first phase of my pipe. And I'm just going to show you guys quickly what it looks like once we actually open a card and once it's in our pipe. So if we go in and we open our card, this is what the layout of the card is always going to look like. So this is really important. What we're always going to see on the left-hand side is basically the history of the card, right? So all that information that I had input into my start form, that's what we're going to be able to see on the left-hand card of my pipe, on the left-hand side of my card, excuse me. And then on the right-hand side of the card, what we're always going to see is all the information or the requirements that we need to input in this specific phase, which is that screening phase, to then be able to move our card to the next phase, which would be our quotation phase. So for this one here, we've got, add assignee. Let's say, I want to assign this to myself, to Andrew. Due date to be purchased. So let's say we want it to be purchased by this Wednesday, so we can save that. Office to be delivered to. I'm in our San Francisco office, so I'll get it delivered to our San Francisco office. And what we can see here, any of these fields with the asterisks are fields that are required fields, right? So if we click up here, we can see that any additional notes is a required field, and it turns red if I don't put anything in there. So that's a required field. For this one, let's just say blah blah, and we can move it on. So once we've gone in, we filled all the information that we need to fill out specifically within this phase, we can move our card to the next phase. So I'll show you guys kind of what that looks like here. So once we've input all that information, we're going to move our card to the next phase in our process, which is that quotation phase. And we've moved our card to our quotation phase of our pipe. What we're going to see again on the left-hand side is all the history of that card, right? So we can see from that initial start form all the information that we input there, and then from that screening phase we can also open that up and see all the historical information that we put in there. And where this is really valuable as well is for your colleagues or whoever's collaborating with you on this specific card. They're able to really quickly on the left-hand side see everything that's happened, and that really facilitates communication and understanding between you and some of your team members. So that's what you're able to see always on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, what we're going to have again are basically all of the different fields or all the different requirements that I have to fill out within this specific quotation phase to move my card to the next phase of my pipe, which is going to now be that approval phase, right? So what we see here, right, is this. We have this specific attachment field with our supplier invoice. So if we go into there, we can attach our supplier's invoice. We can just attach a document there. Take a second to attach. Then we have this supplier email. Let's say, our organization buys all of their TVs and screens from Best Buy. So it would be, customer at bestbuy.com. The phone number for our supplier, 202-557-0228. I'm the specific assignee. And then what we also have here is what we call a database field. So before I jump into that, I'll just kind of walk you guys through all the different fields that we have. So as I mentioned, right, we want to make Pipefy extremely flexible and enable organizations and users to quickly customize any of their cards to specifically, or any of their processes to specifically align with their process needs. So if we go to this customize fields button here, what we can do is virtually add any field that we'd like to this specific phase, right? So we can add fields like attachment fields, like the one I showed you. We can add checklists. Maybe we've got checklists that we need to fill out for our suppliers. We can add currency fields, phone numbers, multiple choice fields, etc. And then what we have here as well is also a database field. So with Pipefy, what you're able to do is you're able to create databases to look up any records from some of the information that you have within your processes. For this specific database here that we're talking about, we're looking at a supplier database. So maybe you want to have a database with all of the different suppliers that you purchase some of your materials from. And what we can do is we can create a database field, which is going to directly link this specific card to a specific database record. And in this case, it would be that Best Buy record, right? So we've got, Best Buy is a supplier of ours, so we can connect this card to that Best Buy record. And then what that will enable you to do as a user is when you go into your database and you click on Best Buy, you'll be able to see all of the different cards that correspond with that specific record, and this card for this specific computer screen would correspond with it too. So that's a high level of kind of what the fields look like and how easy it is to customize it, what things like database connections are. And once we've gone in, we've filled all that information out, we're going to then move our card to the next phase in our process, which is going to be that approval phase. So we can go in and we go and move it to our approval phase. So as we see here, right, we've now moved our card into our approval phase. And what we're going to do, and what I've actually done, is also, and this is a little bit more of an advanced feature here, but we've created a connected card in what we call our approvals pipe. So, maybe you have, your purchasing process pipe, but then you also have an approval pipe where, a finance manager has to look at each different purchasing order to be approved. So we've actually created what we call a connected card within our purchase approval process. And that was done through our automation feature, which I'll discuss in a couple of minutes. So now we've gotten what we call a child card. So this is the parent card, right? We've got a child card that's been created in our approval process. So we can go in there and we can actually go, and now we're going to open up our approval process. And we're going to see what we call our approval backlog, all of the pieces of information that need to be, or all of the different purchases that need to be approved. And we've got this computer screen one, which is the one that we're just looking at. And what makes it really great here is if the approver needs to go and get an understanding of, why a specific person had put in this purchase order, kind of understand the history of it, they can go and specifically view that record. So they can go and see all of that information from that parent card. So they can see, all the information we've put into there. They can see that supplier invoice, etc. So we can set things like rules where, I can't move that specific computer screen card in my purchasing process from approval to purchase unless it gets approved here. And that's exactly what we've done. So for me to now be able to move my card in the other pipe, I need to move this card from computer screen approval backlog here to my approved phase here. So now I'm able to do that. Let's go back to my actual purchasing process and take a look at that specifically, right? So now we've got, Andrew Edwards here, this computer screen one. It's been approved for purchase, yes. Any additional notes. And then we can move that to our next phase within the pipe, which is going to be that purchasing phase. So once we move it into that purchasing phase, what we've actually done and what I've done with this specific card now is we've kicked off a template, an email template. So with Pipefy, that's an additional kind of advanced feature. What you're able to do is you're able to create email templates, which enable you to send emails to recipients every time you move a card from one phase to another. So that specific email template that went out was an approval email template. We can see that email was sent out at 1:56 p.m. And it was sent out to the specific recipient. And how we do that is we've got some dynamic content that you can create different fields from, and you can specifically decide who you want to send an email to once you move a card from one phase to another. So now that we have it in our purchasing process, we've sent out the email to the person that requested this purchase, letting them know it's been approved. We can then add any other additional information that we need to add within this purchasing process to then be able to move it. So supplier info, Best Buy, blah, blah, whatever we want to put in there, credit card information, put all that in, our payment method. We can say it was paid by a credit card, our estimated delivery date, and then again, we can say, date that it was paid on, let's say it was paid today, let's save that, and then we can move our card to the next phase within our pipe, which is going to be that delivery phase now. So I think, probably makes sense to jump into some other features that we have. We've done a quick overview and demo of kind of what it looks like to move a card between different phases, what some of the fields that we can select are, and to customize our process. What some of the advanced features are, like those email templates where we're able to kick off emails just by moving cards from one phase to another, and then also things like that, our database, right, and being able to connect specific cards and information in different cards to records within our database. So that's kind of the basics of Pipefy, and now I want to jump in and show you guys some additional reporting capabilities that we have within the platform. So we can create custom reports within every single pipe to give you kind of a high level understanding of how your process is going, where are some areas that you can make improvements on, and give you some more reporting capabilities there. So if we go and click on that reports tab, what we see here is we can create any specific report that we want to create, right? So if we go into that create new report there, we can see that really simply we've got a report here, and we can customize that to reflect any field within our cards that we want to take a little bit of a closer look at. So if we go and click on this button here, what we can do is we can filter that report by, as I mentioned, any field within our cards. So maybe for this specific, purchasing process, one of the things that would be really important for us to see is to understand, how much we're purchasing every month. So we can go in and we can look at things like, price of item to be purchased. So once we look at that, and if it's a specific currency field, we're able to also sum all of that, all of the items that need to be purchased and the prices of all those items. So we're able to sum them. We're able to do things like average them. We can also look at different phases of our specific cards, right, and how many cards are in which different phases of the actual pipe, so we can completely customize that, and that's how we do that based on those different fields that we select from there. And then what we can do here on the left hand side is basically filter all of our reports, right? So let's say maybe we wanted to look at a specific report of our current phase, we want to look at everything that's in our approval phase. So let's say our current phase is approval. So we want to look at that specifically, and then we also want to look at items to be purchased. Price of item to be purchased. Sorry about that. Is greater than, let's say, $750. So we can see that there's about 6 different items to be purchased that are in our approval phase and over $750. And then we can go in and save that specific report, and maybe we want to provide that to someone on our finance team that's doing the approval. So dollar amount over 750. We can save that specific report. We can then do things like export it into Excel. So if you want to kind of do any additional slicing and dicing, you can do that very easily by just clicking on this button, and then you get an email with the Excel spreadsheet of your specific report. And then if we go in, what's really valuable about being able to save the report is that we're able to really quickly look up all of our saved reports to get different pieces of information that we want to focus on or look at. So that's an understanding of kind of what that report looks like. It's an extremely powerful functionality that we have within Pipefy. And the next thing I want to show you guys is a feature called the My Desk feature. So if we go back to my organizational dashboard here, what we can click on here is the My Desk feature, right? So if we go to My Desk, basically what this is going to give every user is a high-level overview of all of the different tasks that they have. So I can go to My Desk, I can see that the total cards on my desk are 31 cards. The most recent ones were 12 cards, and then I've got 19 cards that are actually close to their due date. So I probably should focus on those different ones. So this gives every user an idea of exactly what the tasks that they need to perform are, and also gives them an understanding of how to prioritize that based on that most recent versus that nearing due date. And then on the right-hand side here, there's also a notification stream giving the user an idea of kind of all the cards that have been assigned to him or her, and also what they need to do next. So that's another great feature, and fits right into our users' workflows. A lot of times, our users will actually have Pipefy open throughout the day in their browser and just be refreshing that My Desk page to see all the different tasks that are coming their way. One other quick feature that I do want to show you guys is what we call our calendar feature. So if we go back to our purchasing pipe here, what we can see is a calendar feature that we recently built. And what that calendar feature is going to do is it's going to give you an understanding of all of the different due dates that you have for different cards. So if we go and take a look at that calendar, right, it's going to pull up my specific calendar, and it's going to show me that I've got, I've got 2 overdue tasks, right? Those were due last week, this phone booth and MacBook Pro purchase. And then I can also see that I've got, 3 tasks due tomorrow, 3 tasks due Wednesday, and so on and so forth. So it gives all users a real high-level overview of, when their tasks are due, and helps them, get a little bit more organized with that specific calendar view. So I know we're kind of running out of time here, and just want to make sure that we do jump into one of our other really awesome features that we just recently released, and that's going to be our automation feature. So basically, our automation feature, what we've done is we've recently built an extremely powerful automation engine behind our user interface, which basically runs in the background of Pipefy and enables users to automate their processes. It's based on events and actions, and I'll show you really quickly how to actually set up an automation. So kind of similarly to things like Zapier, right? We've created an event that then triggers a specific action. So the different events that we have here are things like when a card is created, when a card is moved, when all connected cards are moved to a specific phase, and the actions that we're able to then automate, right, are things like create a new card in a specific pipe, create a new connected card, move the parent card. And this automation, I had ran an automation specifically for our approval process. So as you guys saw when I moved my card from the quotation phase to the approval phase within my purchasing pipe, automatically a connected card was created within my approval pipe, which was assigned to someone on my finance team that had to approve a specific process or a specific purchase. I'm sorry. So really automation. What we've done with automation is look at really helping our users guarantee standards of execution and reduce process deviations that are caused by things like human error. So automation is extremely powerful feature that we just launched, and we're really excited about it, and we're really excited to continue expanding on our automations that we're creating. So that's a quick idea of kind of what the automation looks like, and I can show you, we can actually create an automation. So let's say, maybe we want to create a new automation, and we can create that specific approval automation that we were just talking about. So if we say, when a card is moved in, our purchasing process, when a card is moved to phase approval, we can also add conditions. So maybe we want to say, specifically, we want to only create a child card when a card is moved to our approval phase, but only if that purchase is over $750. So we can look at, let me quickly find it. Price of item to be purchased has got to be greater than $750. So we can save that as a specific condition that we have. Then we want to say, let's create a new connected card within our purchasing approval process, and then we can go in and create that specific automation. So now whenever a card for an item to be purchased, which is over $750, is going to be moved from that quotation phase to the approval phase, then we will be able to automate the creation of a card within our approval phase that then needs to be our approval pipe, which that then needs to be approved by someone on our finance team. One of the last things I want to talk about are some of the integrations that we have. So as I mentioned earlier, we've got integrations with over 500 apps through Zapier. So you're able to really integrate Pipefy with a bunch of different apps that you use, things like Slack, Excel spreadsheets, Salesforce, and any other applications. And then we also do have that open API that I was discussing earlier, which enables you to integrate Pipefy with any of your internal systems. So that's kind of a high-level overview of Pipefy and a demo. And I just want to thank everybody for joining today. And we're always here at Pipefy to help you out and make sure that Pipefy is aligned to your process needs. So if you have any questions, we're happy to help you out, to help you model your specific processes within Pipefy, and also work with you really closely to make sure that you're able to deploy and manage your processes through the platform. So you can reach out to us if you have any questions, and really thankful for you guys spending the time with us today, and look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a wonderful day and take care.